Sofa's too big.
Nice jumper.
K2 Bespoke really started from our clients' needs developing over time and then coming to us really and recognising that what was part of K2's DNA right from the beginning and providing that high touch level of service really morphed into them recognising that their most senior population really required something more.
We have to have the right people, the right mindset. They have to be agile. And they need to be empathetic and understand every assignee is going to be different. They all have different needs. We have offices globally. All the cultures are different. The individuals we're moving are all different, going into different cultures, but they're also experienced, so they don't necessarily think they need the help and assistance, and having to gain that trust of the assignee to let us help them is one of the key things I think we have with our team.
I always find that sometimes the most challenging things are the ones that bring the biggest reward. And when we're set those kind of quite difficult challenges, and I've seen you for sure, find private jets for pets that can't get into Heathrow Airport because of a blockage, and we find a solution flying people into Paris or somewhere else. And similarly, as you said earlier, that really needs to become global.
Yeah, and I think sometimes we think it's, something exceptional is going to be huge, but it could just be they need their air freight in 5 days when typically they take 7 to 14. So we have to work backwards to get it there on time.
I think that the thing that's impressed me the most sometimes is how we're able to mobilise, for example, somebody's move without them being there and, packing up their household goods, taking their life.
Yeah, they're on the other side of the world.
From one location to another, and they're not even there. And we're able to rebuild their home, pictures on the walls.
But they trust us. That's the important thing.
And I think you're right. And I think that comes from our team's ability to build that trust.
Yeah. I think it's redefine the expectation through the eyes of who you're working with, whether that's the assignee, the client. Every single person is different.
Yeah, and I think you're right. It isn't really just making a family transition from one location to another. I think what makes what we do so special is that we take those moments, take those opportunities, and you and I and the teams have all talked about looking really hard to find those opportunities for us to really make a difference to how we make them feel, make a difference to how our team reacts to challenges and situations. And it isn't just being able to make sure that there's a welcome basket in their property, but it's really listening, as you said, that first time when we talk to them, that there's a particular interest or particular challenge with a family situation, medication, any of those things that we can then apply, and really through that journey make sure that we are making that transition for them as seamless as possible, of course, but also really trying to get them to see how we can turn that level of service up a notch at every opportunity.
Yeah, and I guess making them feel like they've been heard. Yeah. That we weren't just listening, but we actually listened.
I think technology plays a really important part in all of our lives today. And I think when we look at how it has filtered into our service and how it has filtered into our industry, I think we are all grappling with making sure that we really continue to have that personal touch, really continue to make sure that we are using technology for the right reasons as an enabler to help us add value to that journey, and making sure that really our population really fully looking for a self-service system. I don't think so. I think really it is a case of making sure that there are those opportunities where we need to share high levels of complex information, making sure that they're all in one place.
Behind the scenes for us. And then I think for the individual and the family moving, they're always on the go, so they're on their phone. They just want something easily accessible when they're on the train, on the plane, that they can just look at their phone and see everything that's happening without having to go through emails, logging on a different system. It's making everything as easy as possible for them so that they don't have to think. We're doing the thinking for them.
Yeah, but I also think some of the new things that we're bringing into that experience using AI to add value and bring, even data points, even activities that would historically maybe shared on a A4 piece of paper, like an itinerary for a tour.
Yeah.
Automating that, making that a much higher level of digital experience, I think, is enhancing the experience and the expectation of our clients, I think, is that we make absolute best use of that technology to make sure that we really provide something that looks really strong, feels really automated and really easy to use. I think that's the key. I don't think we're looking for things that necessarily are hugely complex, but really kind of lift the bar in how I'm interacting with those things and tools that I'm using every day.
You think in the best will of the world, there's a line, A to B, but when in reality, it never works like that. Things go wrong, you have to adapt, and I think that's where the team excel. They're agile, they don't let it get to them, they don't think about, they don't focus and fixate on the problem. They think, okay, how do I fix this? How do we move on from this? And how do we have the individual or their family not focus on what went wrong, but what we did for it to then go right and get better and change their expectations.
And I've seen how you and the team really are able to take something which is, an issue, a challenge at the time, something that may have gone wrong within or outside of our control, and be able to turn that into a real positive. And I think we all have that in our own lives, irrespective of moving countries. I think there are situations when things go wrong, and it is how organizations, how individuals react. And I think also, I've heard you say many times, we really need to take that accountability for that problem and really, make that individual feel that we are going to turn that around. We're going to find the right solution to make that difference. When you look at the most successful organizations and the products they provide, and some of the hotel chains, for example, it's that familiarity that you're going to be able to find that level of service, that level of support across the globe, irrespective of where you're interacting, and especially when we're looking at the complex business lives of our clients or our customers with respect to where they're going to be traveling to and from. I think that provides us a huge challenge sometimes, but also a great opportunity to really impress people when we think of some of those locations that are a real challenge, and making sure that we are able to deliver that same level of services in those locations, I think actually really raises the bar, and where we, I think, over the years have really excelled.
And I think it comes back to our culture, because we are one team, even though we are across the globe, and we trust each other, we lean on each other, we support each other to deliver that service, to make sure it remains seamless and everyone's getting consistent globally.
Yeah, I think that comes from what we have been able to achieve in terms of understanding what our goal is, understanding the vision that we have as a business, to really make sure that everybody's bought into it, everybody understands their roles and responsibilities within that, and they have a real common goal to deliver that level of service that our clients expect.
Yeah, I think everyone lives and breathes bespoke culture, goes beyond expectations.
No, that's true.